Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is our fourth stakeholder meeting we've had for Clean Cities, so that's really exciting. Most of you know me. I'm Nicole. I'm a Sustainability Fellow for Clark County's Department of Environment and Sustainability. If you'd like to introduce yourself in the chat and get to know each other, but we'll get started here. We're just going to do a quick Clean Cities overview and updates, and then we have 3 guest speakers with us today. We have Paul from the Nevada Electric Vehicle Association and Olivia and Kevin from Clark County's Department of Environment and Sustainability. So, I always do this slide, but for anybody that's new, I just like to give a quick introduction as to what Clean Cities is. It's a national network run through the U.S. Department of Energy. The goal is to reduce petroleum fuels, and that's mostly done through approved alternative fuels and through idling reduction. The purpose is to reduce dependence on foreign oil, provide cleaner air, and lower greenhouse gas emissions. And there are 75 coalitions in the United States right now, but there's no representation in Nevada. So Clark County is currently working on a designation. That's what my project is for my fellowship. These are the approved alternative fuels, and recently they added renewable diesel as a 7th fuel. When we first started, there were just the first 6 here. You know that Clark County has a lot of initiatives and it's all in sustainability plan around electricity. However, with Clean Cities, any of these alternative fuels work for our goals, and the coalition is alternative fuel neutral. So, any of these will be great for our program. We had our advisory committee vote on the official name of our coalition, and it's now the Southern Nevada Clean Cities Coalition. We went by Clark County Clean Cities for a little bit, but this is our name, and we've updated it on our website and in our documents. We also had our advisory committee vote on our logo, and I'm happy to present everyone with our new logo. I think it's really beautiful and captures what we're trying to accomplish with Clean Cities. And then finally, we have a new website. Kevin, who will be speaking later, was a big part in this. It's for the whole all-in plan, and we're under the Actions tab, Clean Cities. If you like, this is the website here, or you could scan the QR code, and that will take you to our all-in plan. You could learn more about not just Clean Cities, but the other work we're doing around water conservation, waste reduction, all our sustainability initiatives. So just a quick update on our designation status. So we've already done all the groundwork. We've determined the structure of our group, formed our advisory committee, and we've been meeting regularly with stakeholders and doing our educational programming. We currently have our application ready to go. We're just finalizing some parts with with my regional manager at the Department of Energy, and we're going to be turning that in very soon. So hopefully we'll have that apprenticeship designation by the next time we meet. Then we'll start pursuing our full designation, and that will involve forming a working group or 2. If you have any ideas for that, if you think there's something that would be good for a working group for our coalition, please email me and reach out. We will also start to collect relevant data around petroleum fuel and alternative fuel in the region, and then we'll turn in a full-length report to the Department of Energy for that. So that's what is upcoming. The ways you can participate in Clean Cities, we have our quarterly stakeholder meetings, just like this one. We do online programming. We host webinars fairly regularly. We have in-person events. A couple months ago, we did, with a stakeholder meeting, we had an Electric Avenue event where there were vendors and you could, ride, test drive electric cars and try out electric lawn equipment. So that was really fun. We're planning more events like that. Like I said, we're forming a working group soon, and you can participate in our working group. And then there's opportunities to support, present, and host with our coalition. So does anyone have any questions about that? I can't see any hands though, so if you just have a question, just unmute yourself. No? Okay. So I'm happy to present Paul from the Nevada Electric Vehicle Association. So take it away, Paul.
Thanks so much, Nicole. It's great to be here. It's great to get a chance to meet with Nicole and Olivia last month and get a chance to be a part of this Clean Cities Coalition and try to help out in any way we can. We are the Nevada Electric Vehicle Association. My name is Paul Bordenkircher. If you've looked me up on LinkedIn, I guess some of you did, according to my alerts. My regular job is working as lead audio on the new Awakening show at Wynn Resorts. But this is my side effort, and this is my passion. So I'm on the board of the Nevada EVA, and Nicole was kind enough to ask me to tell you a little bit about us and see if we can be a part of this coalition and help some more. So to get into a little detail, who is the Nevada EVA? Well, previously to this, you may have heard of us as the Las Vegas EVA. Nicole, you can go ahead. We were previously the Las Vegas EVA, and we've been here since 1992. We are in the process right now of a rebranding to the Nevada EVA. We want to take a larger scope, be more involved throughout the organization. We are registered as a nonprofit organization here in Nevada, and we are a local chapter of the Electric Vehicle Association, which is the national organization that is a registered 501c3 nonprofit. We like to say that the EVA in Nevada, EVA stands for, of course, Electric Vehicle Association, but it also helps to outline our primary objectives, which is education, visibility, and advocacy. So through that, the main ways that we have to this point have been doing our special events twice a year. We would do Drive Electric Earth Day beginning in April, usually around Earth Day, of course. We have the National Drive Electric Week coming up in September. I'm excited to say that we're going to be partnering with the the Clark County Department of Environment and Sustainability. We hope to be having it at the location on Russell Road. We're finalizing all the steps on that, but we should be putting that out and having that available. We are expanding our focus from our previous events have typically been more towards the individual driver. So we have existing EV owners that come in, bring their vehicles and tell their stories, and we will still have that. However, with Clark County's involvement, we're hoping to expand that and involve fleet managers, commercial uses, everything, even including things like electric yard work equipment, that kind of a thing. So we're expanding the scope of it with this new direction as the Nevada EVA. And again, one of the things we're also going to be doing with Clark County and the new coalition is more outreach to community education. So we've just committed to doing some events with Nicole and Olivia. Our first one is scheduled for the Summerlin Library in October. And so we're going to start doing that outreach and that kind of thing for our community. Next slide, please. We are planning to do, this is our most common question that we have, just people just trying to learn the basics of what vehicle electrification looks like. So we have what we call our EV 101 slide deck, and it's available. It's what we're going to be using in October. We cover very basic things like what are electrified vehicles, explaining the differences between a hybrid versus a plug-in hybrid, and then a full battery electric vehicle, or BEV. We talk about the different charging levels, such as level 1, level 2, and level 3, otherwise known as DC fast charging. We talk about the different types of connectors and the apps that you can use to find where you can charge. That's been a thing moving recently, as several companies have made a commitment to move to Tesla's charging connector. So we're going to see a whole lot of buzz going on in the industry right now and over the next several months and maybe year or two with that move going on. And then, of course, the practical applications of an EV. What does it do for you? What does it save for you? And we like to say it saves you time. Thinking in terms of an overall cost of operation of running a vehicle, EVs tend to be much lower. saving money with that, saving time, just simply not having to go to gas stations and charging at home, and then saving the hassle, the much reduced amount of maintenance that's required on the vehicles. Again, charging, most of us take 10 seconds to plug in and charge at home, and we don't think about it again. So that's the kind of basic presentations and type of outreach that we like to do. And we're open to doing more of that. We're more in, now on our board, we have with us now, I'm proud to say, Paul Scott is one of our members. He is the head of the Tesla owners group here in Las Vegas. So we hope to have a lot of synergy between the two groups as well and with the coalition. So we're really hoping to ramp this up even greater than the Nevada EVA has done to this point. So that's really all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
I'll just stop sharing for a minute here. Does anyone have any questions for Paul about the Nevada Electric Vehicle Association?
One last thing just to offer for all of you, because I know some of you are involved with some of the groups. If you need materials for education for your own groups or want somebody from our group to come in and do that type of education, that is, again, part of the community outreach and education that we intend to do. So feel free to contact us, get in touch with us through the nveva.org website or through Nicole or Olivia, and we'd be happy to help.
If you come up with any questions in the meantime, feel free to put them in the chat. But thank you, Paul. Thank you for presenting. Up next, we have Olivia from Clark County's Department of Environment and Sustainability.
Hi, everyone. I'm trying to get my presentation full screen. Oh. I guess we'll just work with that. All right. So my name is Olivia Burns. Thanks for tuning in today for the Clean Cities meeting. I'm an environmental specialist with the Office of Sustainability. My main focus is on education in the key areas on the all-in community sustainability and climate action plan. If you are all familiar, we have key areas in energy, waste, water, resiliency, and transportation, which is our focus for today. I'm just going to talk briefly about some of the different upcoming events and educational opportunities that we have for our stakeholders. So next Wednesday, July 26th, we are visiting Rivian for some electric vehicle demonstrations. You could sign up to test drive anytime between 8:30 a.m. to noon. Registration closes on Monday, the 24th in the evening. I'll drop the link for the registration in the chat shortly after this. You won't need to stay the entire time from 8:30 to noon. You could fill out a time slot of when you're expected to be there. And if you also wanted to bring some of your teammates or colleagues from your office or your company, give me a call or an email, and I could see if we have extra spots because it is limited for this event. Please join us. We'll be testing their vehicles, looking at their different products. Their team will be there, so you can ask questions. It should be very fun. And then the next thing we are doing is a clean transportational testimonial. So if you have a success story about owning or leasing an electric vehicle, either personally or within your company, we would love to hear from you. The testimonials will be shared in our newsletters and across social media channels on our website. And this will help influence and inspire others to take the plunge and transition to electric. You could submit photos and videos and a quote using the link publicinput.com/cleanev or send me an email. The testimonials are really to show what you like about your EV, the purchasing process, if you use any incentives or tax rebates. You can tell your story of your favorite road trip you took in your EV, and the website to register also has multiple prompts that you could choose from to answer, but you really do have creative freedom if you wanted to tell a story. And if you wanted it to take it one step further, we do host webinars through the education program, and I'd be happy to highlight your organization or business through that program as well. Besides those two events and campaigns that we have ongoing currently focused on transportation, we did mention that National Drive Electric Week starts September 22nd, and we are planning an event at the Brussels campus on Saturday, September 30th. So please save the date and stay tuned for more details on that. If you attended our Electric Avenue event at our campus on Russell and Decatur in April, it'll be very similar to that. Vendors, electric vehicle demonstrations, and other resources for people to get involved. And you could drop your questions in the chat so I could pass it to Kevin, who's the next presenter, and we could answer any questions you have after. Thank you.
So I guess I'm going now, right, Nicole?
Yep. So thank you, Olivia. Kevin's also with the Department of Environment and Sustainability, and he's going to touch on what our department does. So I hope you can learn a little bit about what we do here in Clark County.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, everyone, for having me today. I'm going to share my screen really quick, so bear with me, and let me know if you can see that. So really quickly, just to give you a quick overview of the department. First off, my name again, Kevin Macdonald. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Department of Environment and Sustainability. I've been here for going on 7 years now, and with the county for nearly 10. And our department is comprised of 3 divisions: Air Quality, Desert Conservation Program, and the Office of Sustainability. And this Office of Sustainability is who administers the All in Clark County program. Overall, we're about 100 employees across these 3 divisions. And DCP, most people know them because of Mojave Max, their mascot, who is educating the children out there about all things desert conservation. The Division of Air Quality is our largest division, and they are the permitting body for Clark County, meaning businesses have to apply for and get approval on air permits to operate in Clark County. Now, those businesses are anything from gas stations, construction companies, asphalt plants, even the casinos. So basically, if you have a boiler or emit pollutants into the air, you need to get a permit from us to operate. In addition,
Can I interrupt you really quick? Are you advancing your slides?
No.
I'm just. Oh, okay. Sorry. Thank you.
Well, you can only see the main slide though, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure. Yeah, no, I'm not advancing any slides yet. So, in addition to being the permitting body, we also enforce compliance with all national ambient air quality standards, also known as NAAQS, and regulations as mandated by the EPA, the Clean Air Act, and our own state implementation plans and regulations. It's important to note that we operate and serve Clark County in an open and transparent manner, with the exception of business proprietary information. Our air permits, our records, and our operations are a matter of public record. So, moving along, a little bit more about DES, or about the Division of Air Quality. We currently operate about 18 active monitoring stations throughout Clark County. This map you're looking at here, that shows a layout of where all the monitoring stations are. The data gathering instruments at our stations are meticulously observed, as they like to say, and maintained to ensure they're meeting all EPA regulations. And our monitoring staff, like Tony here, they gather and review data from the sites to determine air quality index, which you're looking at right there on your screen. Now, the AQI takes an hourly reading that determines if our air quality falls into those specific ranges. Think of this as like a yardstick or a thermometer for air quality.
Real quickly, Kevin,
Yeah.
We're not seeing the full screen of your presentation or the slide of the monitoring stations.
What are you seeing? I'm
seeing the DES means just the first slide.
Really? That's peculiar, because I promise you I'm advancing my slides. Let me stop sharing.
It's showing the window. It's showing the PowerPoint window with the first slide, not the actual slide deck. You might need to change your share to the presentation.
Well, now you all are talking about something that I was not aware of. So I appreciate that. How do I, can somebody tell me, like I'm a 5-year-old, how to do that? Because I've got the share window open.
And then
So your share, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
With the share window, with the share window open in Teams, look for the window that shows just the slide and not the PowerPoint window.
Well, this is a little frustrating. Forgive me, because this was, we didn't have this problem the last time I did this. Let me stop sharing for a moment. And
No problem. You gotta love technology, right?
we do, don't we? Let me go back for a moment. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint slide deck right here. So you can see that, right?
yes, we
Yeah,
can see it with the notes.
Yeah, just work off of on the sidebar there where you see your whole presentation. Just maybe click on the individual slides you want to kind of talk about.
So, but now you can't see me toggling back and forth.
There we go. Now
Yeah.
we're into that. Now we're moving it. Just I would
see.
just do it with your mouse is probably best.
Okay. So forgive me, folks, for that. I apologize. Learning something new every day. So let me go back to this slide here. Well, now it's not letting me move forward at all. How about now?
Let me see the map.
Yeah, we see the map. What I'm saying is use your mouse next time you want to go to like
So it's just my presentation window is now changing. So you see the map. Okay, good. I'll be checking in periodically to make sure that we're all seeing the same thing and singing from the same hymnal. So this map here that you're looking at, that has the 18 monitoring stations that you can see throughout Clark County. Some are spread out a little bit to give us a different look of what's coming in and out of the valley, and then obviously many within the valley. And these monitoring stations are all tracking all our criteria pollutants. And here, they help us to get the air quality index, which if you think of that, it's like a yardstick or a thermometer. And that tells us if the air quality is good, moderate, or reaches those unhealthy ranges. Now, in the permit writing section, our permit writing section, they write and renew air permits for all businesses in Clark County. Again, not every business needs an air permit, but only businesses whose emissions reach a certain level as defined by the EPA. And again, those businesses such as gas stations, dry cleaners, mining operations, construction companies, and their construction sites. Asphalt plants are just a few examples. On average, we are writing and renewing about 450 to 500 permits annually. And once written and approved, that permit defines the parameters to which the businesses must adhere to operate. And through source inspections, among other things, we enforce compliance with our sources. We review their emissions inventories and take a look at all their other documentation. Now, those source inspections, sometimes there's a schedule, sometimes those are not scheduled. One thing that they'll do is they respond to any of the calls we get to our air quality hotline. So people, if they see something or smell something bad, they'll call us and we go out and investigate, whether it's dust or smoke or odor, whatever that may be. And on average, the compliance section, they conduct about 7,000 inspections per year. If the inspections turn up any violations, the responsible operator, the person in charge of maintaining the standards of the air permit, will be served with a notice of violation. Now, these NOVs can carry with them financial penalties. Last year alone, I think we collected more than $1 million in penalties. Now, we as a department don't keep that money. All that money, with the exception of, I think, $12,500 for administrative purposes, stays with us. The rest goes to Clark County School District, and they spend it on air quality programs or education or ways of improving their air quality. So I want to talk a little bit about air pollution. The primary causes here and elsewhere, obviously, it's going to be burning fossil fuels, so coal, natural gas, dust, car exhaust, factories, smog. Wildfire smoke has become more and more prevalent around here the last few years, and obviously this summer out east, it's been an issue. And we've had some wildfire smoke blow into Clark County in the last few weeks that has exacerbated ozone here. Also, fireworks cause air pollution for us. Each year, for New Year's Eve and 4th of July, we issue smoke advisories because sometimes all the fireworks that are going off all over the valley can cause an exceedance for PM10 for dust and smoke. So you can see this graphic here from the visibility camera, right, from August 11th, 2021. This is looking at this. Our visibility cameras are at the M Resort. So this one's pointing north toward the strip there. And this was on a fairly clear day 2 years ago in the morning. So this is what it looks like on a good day here in Clark County. Now, just a few days prior, this is what it looked like. Now, if you recall from 2 years ago, that was when we had all that wildfire smoke blow in from California and elsewhere. That was, it made it so bad you can not only see it, but you could also smell it. That's how bad it was. And I recall driving into work, we're right near the strip, and I couldn't even see the strip from our offices that day. And this goes to prove that even though here in Clark County, we can hold all our permitted businesses to the letter of their permit, and they could go without doing anything wrong, and we can still have an exceedance because of what's happening regionally and even globally, because pollutants can also travel in from other countries into our region. Now, this image here you're looking at, that's a perfect example of particulate matter pollution. Now, particulate matter is one of our criteria pollutants for which we monitor, and we monitor for it in two sizes, PM10 and PM2.5. PM10 is the larger of the two, and this image here that you're looking at, that shows the difference in size between the two. Now, PM10, that's typically dust and smoke. The PM2.5 is going to be, or actually 2.5 is also smoke and soot, another part of particulate matter. And it's, the smaller the size, it can get deeper into your lungs, so that can be worse for people, especially those with breathing sensitivities. Now, the other pollutant that we have to monitor for this is our number one challenge, is ozone here in Clark County. Now, ozone is not as dramatic because you can't see it the same way you can smoke. But like I said, this is the one for which we have the most difficulty these days. Of the 6 criteria pollutants for which we monitor, this is the one we're in non-attainment for. We're in attainment for all the other pollutants, including dust. So what causes ozone? We know up in the troposphere that it's a good thing. It protects us from the harmful UV rays. At the ground level, though, ozone can be toxic to breathe. It can, especially again for those with breathing sensitivities. Now, ozone at the ground level is traditionally caused by chemical reactions. So it's when volatile organic compounds mix with nitrogen oxides and they cook in ultraviolet rays that creates ozone. So it's the VOCs plus NOx plus UV rays equal ozone. Now, VOCs, think of that as anything that puts off a fume. So that's going to be chemicals, paint, gasoline, even an orange puts off a VOC. And the NOx, that's anything that combusts. So that's going to be factory emissions, vehicle emissions, and those two mix together in the sun and create ozone. I'm not saying oranges cause ozone, so that's not the takeaway, but there is naturally occurring ozone because vegetation produces VOCs. It continues to be our biggest challenge here in Clark County for a few reasons. Our geography, our topography, and our climate. Where we sit in the world, to the east of Southern California and even Asia, where pollutants can transport, plus all the mountains that are around us, creates this bowl effect. And then with our climate, with all the sunlight that we get, more so than the heat necessarily, that is why it's a perfect bowl, perfect oven to cook ozone. And it's important to note that we have like 1.4 million vehicles in Clark County, so it's not just the transport of pollutants, but we also have our own homegrown ozone. because of those vehicles and other emissions. We don't have a lot of heavy industry like other places around the world, though. I think that's important to know. But when we talk about ozone, we talk about it in terms of what's called an exceedance. Now, an exceedance for ozone, I'm going to put up this chart here. These are the actual exceedance days that we recorded since 2003, and that's current as of today for 2023. Now, an exceedance day is when ozone exceeds the EPA standard for an 8-hour average in one 24-hour day. The current ozone standard is 70 parts per billion. Now, in the past, it was higher. But if people just taking it at face value and look at this chart here, you think ozone is getting worse, not better. But this is, like I said, actual exceedance days per the standard of the day. Now, this, when we adjust it, looking at the current standard of 70 parts per billion, this is what it looks like. And again, this is accurate up until today. I'm not saying that we don't have our challenges here, and we certainly have in the last few years had some spikes, but by and large, ozone is improving here in Clark County. It certainly has improved from where it was 20 years ago, but that doesn't mean that we can't and shouldn't take steps to continue improving it. I know our planning section is currently working toward that with an ozone mitigation SIP attainment plan. And one of the issues, if you look at this chart, 2018 and 2021 specifically, those were years when we had a lot of wildfire smoke blow into the region. And that's where we got those heavy spikes. 2019, we had no wildfire smoke to speak of, and only had three exceedances that year, a bit of an anomaly. This year, early on in July, we had a string of like 7. I think between June and July, like 10 of 11 days, we had ozone exceedances. So we've been having a challenging summer, and we have to look at all the factors as to why we're seeing that. One thing to point out, though, when we talk about exceedance days, you remember that map I showed you of the monitoring stations? When we have a day where ozone exceeds the standard, that doesn't mean it's the whole valley. It doesn't mean all 18 of those monitoring stations have registered an exceedance. It's typically anywhere from 1 to 5 or 6. Occasionally, we'll have 10 to 12, but traditionally, actually, if I can indulge me, I'm going to pull this map back up. And if you look at those monitoring stations around to the west of the valley through Summerlin, that's where most of our exceedances will happen for ozone. And it's just the way the climate, the weather will push it. So again, this year worse than last year, and we still have almost 3 months left of ozone season to go. Usually by September we're winding it down, but last year we had a couple late ozone exceedances. So again, we have to start looking at new ways of reducing ozone in Clark County. We also have to think about this regionally and globally. Moving on, the thing with ozone is you have to protect your health, especially those with asthma or COPD. Ozone can also affect children and older adults more, and it also will affect your pets more so than an average healthy adult. So the first steps we want to tell people is consult with your doctor first for any medical advice. But on days when the ozone could be increasing or high, reduce the time you're active outdoors, especially in the afternoons, because that's when ozone typically reaches its peak. Schedule activities for the morning or after the sunset. And then if you have to be outside, substitute less intense activities. If you like to jog outside, maybe take a walk that day. Also, limit outdoor exertion. Indoors, keep your windows and doors closed, run the air conditioner, check your indoor air filters, and change those frequently, especially when we have dust and smoke. If you're out driving, please drive slowly on unpaved roads if you can. Don't take shortcuts across vacant lots, and drive your off-road vehicles in approved areas only. When it comes to ozone reduction, there are things that we who own vehicles can do to help the cause. So reducing driving, combining errands into one trip if you can. Don't idle your engine unnecessarily. Obviously, if you're picking the kids up at school, that might be difficult, but if you're going to Dutch Brothers, maybe park the car and go to the walk-up window instead. And using mass transit or carpool, filling up your gas tank after sunset helps. keeping your vehicle well-maintained, because a well-maintained vehicle operates more efficiently, right down to the air pressure in your tires. Reduce the use of gas-powered landscaping equipment. This one is critical because those two-stroke engines are heavy polluters. So go convert to electric if you can, or just don't use them all. Don't use them as much as possible. And then turning off lights and electronics when not in use is also helpful. And one thing I want to go back and say about ozone, when I look at this this graphic, if you can see that again, since it is a chemical, it's a chemical reaction. If you remove one of those three elements there, NOx or VOCs or UV rays, you can reduce ozone. That's why we say pump gas after sunset, because the sun's not cooking the VOCs and the NOx. That pretty much wraps up my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Hey, Kevin, Justin Steele here from NVEVA. You forgot one suggestion, go in an electric car.
You know what? Forgive me for that. You're right. I absolutely did forget that, and I can't believe I did that on this call. that's really bad form.
You need to have that. You put that as probably #1 item. If you drive an electric, well, then we're not contributing to the ozone problem. So.
Absolutely. I need to update that slide, but you're right. Convert to electric if you can, because that's a zero emission vehicle as you're driving it. So definitely.
We have a question in the chat, Kevin, from Brad. Does the Mint 400 have a dust permit?
I believe they do. I believe they have, but I'd have to double check on that. But I know that we've been in communication with them in the past about their event. But I would have to circle back on that one and find out and report back to you all.
And then relating to that, I have a question about Formula One coming. Are they planning with our department how that's going to affect our air quality?
I'm not sure what conversations have taken place with Formula One. I know that F1, they've been in contact with the county about the event, about everything. But in terms of the air quality impacts of that, I think that's been a discussion point according to the county manager. But I haven't been involved in those personally, and I haven't spoken to our director about that. But as we draw nearer to that event, I'm sure we'll have more and more conversations about it. I don't know what the air quality impacts are of Formula One race in a community as it's happening, but that's something that I think would be interesting to look into just from a informative standpoint.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions? While you're thinking of that, one thing I want to show you all, you can keep up with air quality on your phone too, through the Air Now app. And I'm pulling it up right now as we speak to show you. It's the EPA's app, Air Now. And so you can look at real-time air quality data. That we provide this data to that site, that app. So if you go to Google, on Google phone or Samsung or iPhone, look for Air Now. It's the EPA app. That will give you all the information that we put out there daily. You can also follow us on social media. I will put those in the chat for you all. And we just launched our Threads account, so we're still getting our feet underneath us on that one, but we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also, I'll put the link to our monitoring website, so you can also see our daily forecasts. And if you want to look more at that map and take a closer look at the data that's there, if you're a data nerd like me, it's a virtual paradise.
Well, thank you, Kevin. And if you have any other questions that you think of, just put them in the chat and Kevin can answer them there. And I'm just gonna share, I think I have one more slide. So upcoming, Paul and Olivia both mentioned some events that's going on, including Drive Electric Week. Clean Cities will be doing a webinar on Monday, September 25th. We'll send out more information about that soon. And then we have the Drive Electric event on Saturday, September 30th. And then we will be having an in-person stakeholder meeting for Clean Cities. We're going to actually have it at our downtown location. So that will be on Wednesday, November 1st. I think it's around noon. I'm not 100% sure on that though, so just wait for my email, but we'll do an in-person meeting. It'll be like our 1-year anniversary for Clean Cities. So we'll try to make it fun and have something exciting going on for that. But that's all I have. I did just want to open the floor. Does anyone have anything they want to share at their organization? Do you have anything coming up, any events, or any work that you've been doing that's around sustainable transportation, alternative fuels and vehicles? If you want to share with the group. Nobody's got anything? Are we sure?
I'm just still checking out Paul's shirt. I mean, it's got to be the coolest shirt we gotten in this whole call.
Last month, the city of Las Vegas did submit for the EV charging grant through the infrastructure bill. So we have a LV for EV proposal that should be assessed by the U.S. Department of Transportation over the next couple of months.
That's really exciting. Thank you, Marco.
I have a question. How much of the county's fleet has converted to EVs?
Go ahead, Kevin.
We don't have. I don't have the data in front of me. Let me see if I can look it up. Nicole, if you want to take the wheel, I'll see if I can find some information on that.
I think we have currently it's 6 electric vehicles with plans to move to 43 more this fiscal year, depending on the supply chain,
So, Nicole, can I ask a question? Is that, and I'm going to say this may be wrong, but just go with me because we're learning government vernaculars here. I'm assuming that's county direct, meaning you're actually Clark County, not the school district, not like Child Haven or any of these other kind of, ancillary, tangential organizations that technically are under there.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because I think there's between the school district and say Child Protective Services, you probably are much larger than 6.
Yeah, that's just for Clark County, the departments within Clark County, and Kevin can touch on, how many departments we have. But yeah, CCSD has their fleet separate from ours. And I know that we've got like the airport is looking towards electric shuttles to get to the rental center, but I don't think that's included with our count either. Kirsten, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to flag that we are working with NV Energy and several of Nevada school districts and the Nevada Division of Environmental Protection to lead Nevada's application to the 2023 Clean School Bus Program under the Environmental Protection Agency. The round of grant funding that's open right now, due next month, EPA has said that they're only going to make up to, I think, 50 awards. So that means that a Nevada-wide application is critical to ensuring both competitiveness of our application in our schools, but access by all of our school districts. So we're in the midst of working on that right now. And I think the other great thing about a statewide application is we're able to think about strategically how we can leverage multiple sources of funding between, federal tax credits and remaining VW settlement funds, NV Energy's incentives, and also working with the rural electric co-ops as well.
Yeah, that's great. And we are trying to make sure, like we have Kirsten and Andy, they're both represent a statewide group. And we have Candy from Nevada DOT in our advisory committee as well. We're working with Northern Nevada, who are also looking to start a coalition. So, you know, having that statewide partnership, I think, is really important for a lot of things. And so I'm glad you're working on that electric school bus program for the state. Justin has his hand up.
Hi, yes, Nicole. So for Southwest Gas, we have over the last few years, we've definitely grown our CNG fleet as far as alternative fuels. You know, we were down less than 1% 4 or 5 years ago, and now company-wide, we're, you know, a little over 20% of our vehicles are CNG vehicles. You know, that's across all 3 states, Arizona, Nevada, and California. We do have 2 F-150 Lightnings that we're piloting in California to see if they fit within our operational needs. You know, there's been a lot of concerns on range and you know, just overall duty cycle. You know, obviously these are work trucks, so we've got to make sure that they fit within the emergency response parameters that we have to make sure that we're supplying you know, safe and efficient utilities. And then we're also piloting some idle mitigation technologies to reduce the idle time, you know, that some of our vehicles experience while on job sites and things like that for operational needs. So quite a few things going on. You know, looking at multiple different avenues to reduce emissions where we can, where it's feasible, and still accomplish the work that needs to be done.
Yeah, that's all really great. We actually had a presentation. Unfortunately, Justin couldn't make it, but with his idling reduction project that like test pilot that he's doing, we talked about that in a idling webinar. I think it was back in March, somewhere around there. But
yes,
it's really interesting if you're looking to reduce idling in your fleets. That's you know, I'd recommend going back and looking at that presentation on our website, or reaching out to Justin because he has a really some really good results, I believe, right?
Yeah, the results are looking really good. You know, we really wanted to get and test through the summer months, because that's when we're really gonna, you know, put a good strain on the systems, and you know, through the hot summer months, and we really see how the systems perform and if they live up to their advertised goals. So
that's great. Thank you for sharing.
Hey, Nicole.
Yes.
I did was able to find some data about the county fleet, vehicle fleet. This is maybe about a year or so old, so it might need to be updated a bit. But we have a total of more than 2,500 vehicles in our fleet. At the time I pulled this together, it was almost 400 hybrid vehicles, 129 SmartWay vehicles, 1,061 biodiesel vehicles, and a total of 58 electric vehicles. And that's a handful of Chevy Volts and Teslas, as well as equipment like forklifts and carts and such.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I think the plan is to continue increasing the EV
So
fleet.
like light duty, yeah.
And I
Thank
think
you.
like 50% by 2030 or something like that. I can't remember the number.
Thank you, Kevin.
Mhm.
And Justin Steele has his hand up.
Yeah, this is going back to the other Justin from Southwest Gas, who's going to say, recently General Motors just came out with their Silverado EV, and of course GMC is doing the same thing. They're targeting fleet managers now, and that vehicle, like the Ford Lightning, does about 320. The estimated range for the Silverado is about 400. So
right.
significantly upgraded, and they're looking for fleet type applications for it. So, you know, the cost is apparently going to be lower as an entry point. And so it might be, you know, something you might want to look in there too. So,
oh yeah, definitely. No, we've been in touch with our GM reps. You know, we have factory support from both GM, Ford, and Stellantis. You know, all 3 of the big manufacturers. You know, we've been in contact with all of them, you know, seeing what's out there. And you know, Ford just released a price reduction on the F-150 Lightning earlier this week. So, which is going to be retroactive. So if you've already purchased one and waiting for it to deliver, the cost reduction is going to be retroactive. So that'll be a nice little incentive as well. So
cool. Just passing it on, as we share information.
And I think there was a question in the chat about what's CNG, and I think Paul answered it. But Justin, if you just want to take a minute really quick to explain, because that is one of our alternative fuels for clean cities.
Oh, sure. So CNG stands for compressed natural gas. The natural gas being the main driving factor of it. Compressed just means it's been compressed down, to a storage cylinder. The natural gas is methane. It's a methane molecule. There's also RNG, which is renewable natural gas. Still methane. Molecularly, it's still the same. It's just where it's sourced from. Traditional natural gas is sourced from the ground, dead dinosaurs, whereas renewable natural gas, the methane molecules that compose of that, is resourced from decomposing materials like wastewater treatment plants, dairies, and facilities like that. Waste management is a big producer of renewable natural gas. We actually have 6 renewable natural gas sites within the Southwest Gas Territory that we've assisted with building out and connecting to the pipeline. So yeah, that's renewable natural gas is a 1-for-1 replacement for traditional natural gas.
Thank you, Justin. And Justin Steele.
Yeah, I was going to ask how many, because I know, we have wastewater, management, we have a big dump. Do we have any, what do we have here in the county for biogas capture and usage there? Do we have any?
From the Southwest Gas side, as far as I'm aware of, no, we do not have any. Those are as a public utility, we're kind of limited on what we can participate in as far as public-private, agreements. Arizona's been very friendly. The Arizona Utility Commission has been very friendly on how we can work with private partnerships like that with the dairy farms and things like that. And California's been pretty friendly as well, as far as how much involvement we can have as a public utility on getting those types of sites up and running and producing. However, the Nevada Utility Commission has been a little more strict on the level of participation that we can have as far as a public utility in the state of Nevada. So
there is, I don't know much about it, but there is an Air Liquide factory up that way for hydrogen. But we don't have a lot of contact with them at this moment, so I don't know a lot about their facility. Olivia?
Thank you.
City of Las Vegas uses that at the wastewater treatment plant as well, but that's only for the wastewater treatment processes. But we are working with Southwest Gas on a renewable natural gas project as well.
To answer a question that was in the chat earlier, Justin, if you wanted to do a testimonial about the compressed natural gas vehicles, that would be phenomenal to do. So you could submit on the website or email me. So it could be any of the alternative fuels for clean cities. The campaign is targeting electric vehicles for mostly our community members and our residents, but compressed natural gas, of course.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. And then Nicole, you mentioned hydrogen, and that's another kind of unique, thing that Southwest Gas has been a part of is hydrogen blending within our natural gas pipelines. We have 2 projects going on with UNLV and University of Arizona right now, studying the effects of hydrogen blending on the natural gas distribution infrastructure. Starting with obviously low percentage grades, up to 10% blending to reduce the the natural emissions that occur from burning methane. So.
Thank you, Justin. And we're running out of time here, so I just want to is there anything else anybody wants to share at the last minute, or we'll give you 3 minutes back to your day? Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and I hope to see you at our in-person meeting in November, and be on the lookout for some emails about upcoming webinars and some other events we'll be doing. Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Nicole.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Job, Nicole. Thanks.
Thank you.